Dude, y'all
Um,
Roma Precious up though.
Pressures.
Precious. Y'all
I got,
Roma Precious up.
I got some blood pressure pills.
Hey everybody, thank y'all so much. We are CAG Chat and we are live. I am your one of your hosts, Sherman. I am joined by Donna, Tanya, Levon, and Derek. And yes, Levon, I said the only first name, so it's just a habit, don't worry. And thank y'all so much for tuning in. We have a a very relaxed but I don't want to say jam-packed episodes tonight. We are going to be discussing um tonight we are going to break down SB 1005 and the Maryland National Capital Park and Plan slush fund shakeup, the fiscal year 27 budget, and what the state funds cut could mean locally here in Prince George's County. We're also going to really mean in an election season. Lavon is tired of people saying, "How do we find out who is running?" And then we're also going to talk about we're going to update you on the county is breaking the law. They are violating the charter. And so we are happy to get into this. I'll go ahead and toss it over to Lavon. Do you have a open mic tonight?
No, not really. I'm
Hmm.
just, yes,
Okay,
I
well,
have a
who
little
we gonna
bit.
pass it on to? Who want to go
Wait,
first?
wait, wait. Well, I'll say that later. Go ahead. Who wants to go first? Tanya, you want to
It-
we want to start with SB 105?
let's start there. Yes, yes, the Great Maryland Heist. Yeah, let's start there.
So let me start that then. So tonight, this evening, Brad Bell reported breaking news that Governor Wes Moore had signed a bill that put guardrails, as he described it, on the money grab that the county council, and I'll say the county
And
executive,
county executive.
has been
Yes,
making on or with Maryland Park and Planning.
right.
And the legislators were the ones that came to him or introduced this bill, and they agreed and signed off on it, led by the Ben Barnes,
Bun
who's from
Barnes. Yeah.
North County, who shares other jurisdictions. People don't even know he's a Prince George's delegate, but he sits on one of the most influential financial committees. And so he led the charge to pull in the
Yes.
nonsense um, that's being
The
put
slush
upon Maryland
fund.
Park and Planning. And so we are excited about this. Oh, and nobody was available yet for comment. One council member off camera told Brad Bell that this was good, that they didn't vote for this proposed change in park and planning. And nobody else was available, not denying him an interview, but they were not available.
Not
And I even put
available.
in the comments to Brad Bell that CAG has been interviewed by him. Tanya was interviewed by him. Her story never showed up, or her interview never showed up.
Nope.
He calls to get information, but
Remember,
he
he's
never,
going a different way. I'm going to go in a
right,
different
but he never
direction.
reports on the thing. So now he wants
Hmm.
to get this breaking news. And so I'm gonna hand it over to you, Tanya, to talk about the financial impact of
Yeah.
this situation. Oh, and SB
Oh,
105 is supposed to be DOA.
yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
still waiting for them to publicly kick that one to the curb.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if the governor put this in these guardrails into the budget and has signed off on that budget, then SB 1005 should be dead
Right.
because the whole purpose of that, even though they want to say we want to make things happen faster, no, this was a smash and grab. They wanted to be able to go out and have park and planning be their little piggy bank. And unfortunately, Daryl Barnes was complicit with this and did not really stand up for the citizens of Prince George's County. Does Daryl live in Prince George's County anymore? Well, anyway, that's another story. But
Very messy. And let me just say, he didn't not only stand up for the citizens of Prince George's County, but he also didn't stand up for his workers. And a lot of
right.
them are very upset, which they should be, because, even though he said this came like a thief in the night and he had no idea about it, I mean, he's thick as thieves with the
But
county
you
executive, so
also
how could he
ready.
have not known? So He definitely has well, he says he's going to come back on the show, you guys. So we are going to hold
Well,
him to that.
we got
And
questions for you,
Okay.
Daryl.
yeah, we do. So hopefully he comes on and he'll clear a lot of this stuff up.
Well, and so the other thing about this, have to remember because see, our this, and I'm just going to say it. This has been the most corrupt, corrupt politicians that we have ever had in our government office.
They
The
not stuffing
most.
money in the panties, but they are
Mhm.
doing the damn thing, and y'all not paying attention. Baby, they is robbing
They
y'all blind.
stuffing it everywhere else they can,
It may
and then
feel good, it may sound good, but when you look at it, when them
it
roads
ain't
not
good.
paid, when the,
Oh,
the lines not painted,
look, my
when you can't
roads.
afford to bring businesses in this county,
Well, who wants to
think about
come?
it.
Who wants to come?
Think about it.
Our roads look like we
And
have
there's no
just gone
infrastructure.
through. Yeah, our roads look like we have just gone through a war. I
Yeah.
mean, dodging the potholes off of St.
Oh,
Barnabas
I drove
Road
on
is
Bill
ridiculous.
going through Accokeek and those southern parts.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, but yet and still, remember about a month ago we were getting from the county executive how many potholes they were filling. I
Hmm.
guess they lost count. But let's get back to SB 10005. So I'm glad the governor has taken a stand to stop um endorsing this corruption in Prince George's County. So maybe he's trying to redeem himself to become president. I don't know. But I'm glad that something has been done. The other thing is
Well,
SB,
Tanya,
huh?
please make it clear because we want the public to understand. SB 1005 is not the guardrails. That's the bill
No,
to
no, no.
break
But
up.
let me
You're
finish and
talking
I
about the
yeah,
other bill.
let me finish so that we can pull it together. So
Okay.
it's the guardrails that have been pulled into the budget, which is saying that the our county council can no longer transfer money from park and planning to the county council for their little pet projects using making that their slush fund for their little pet projects of let's do crabs, let's do healthcare, let's do all of these, let's save some eggs, all of these little crazy things that they're doing with our money they cannot do anymore. So if you think about that connection, because we want to connect dots. So when you think about that they put those guardrails in place, then to me, I don't see how SB 1005, which basically is trying to keep park and planning as a state agency, but then split it so that basically the county would have control basically over the money, the decisions of the money. They'll have control over land use. They'll have control over IT. They'll have control over the legal part of it. So that gives them a lot of control that has to do with money. So SB 1005 to me should be dead based on what the governor signed today. The other thing we want to think about, embed it in the county executive's budget. One of the things that was embedded in the budget that actually eliminated this $170 million structural deficit, there was a forecast of revenues of $40.4 million. And that was coming from, there was a police aid, and there was a health grant, and transfers from park and planning. So you have to wonder how much of this $40.4 million was going to come from these transfers from park and planning. So you can see how they have sat down and they did, you got to give it to them. They sat down and they strategized. There's no doubt about it. Because that is weaved into the budget. And that's why they probably make these budgets so many pages, thinking that nobody's going to read through them. So now we need to wonder if this bill, which sounds like it's going to die, and even if it doesn't die, the governor has put stuff in place so that they can't take the money anyway. That money cannot
Allegedly.
go into their slush funds that they have been doing. the $30 million, the $20 million, and all that crazy stuff. And we don't even have the receipts for what they've done.
Oh, they
So,
won't give us the receipts for it, rather.
yeah, we asked for it, but we got to pay for it.
We'll talk about that later, how they violating the law.
Well, Taraji
Exactly.
P. Henson needs to give back the money that they gave her Boris Henson Foundation
Well, she ain't
and
getting no more.
do business elsewhere.
Well, quiet as it's kept. That's that whole thing is illegal because of the open space. So they can't just give a building over um
Right.
to anybody like that. So I hey people in parking planning, I have been trying to reach out to a couple of folks to get some assistance. My inbox remains open. I am very responsive. Anybody want to drop some, wings into my inbox? You're more than welcome.
Yes. And
Yes.
now the time, whistleblowers. Now is the time to start
Mhm.
letting folks know.
I
Uh,
will say while we on the whistleblower, so far, should I even say which agencies we have people in, or because we missing a
No.
couple of them? There's a few agencies that we still missing folk from the county, so we need to fill some gaps. Everybody reach out to us, please. I know y'all tired, y'all are sick and tired, and I sit here to help you.
And
That's
so
my life's goal, to be honest with you, at this point.
sometimes the CAG group may be feeling a little downtrodden and beat up or frustrated or whatever the emotion of the day may be. But this evening, we feel victorious. And those of you who spoke out, contacted your legislators and told them no to SB 1005, we
thank you.
commend you and we thank you all because advocacy works.
Works.
I promise you, I was in Annapolis on whatever night that was, April 2nd last week, and Senator Nick Charles ask me if I had a bill I wanted to speak on, and he knew that I had reached out to him on SB 105, and he said, "Sure, go ahead and make your comment and your position." And I stood in front of the folk and said, "It needs to die." And the word in the hallway was that it was going to die. We have not seen it officially dead yet, but this is a great, great
Well,
sign.
did he testify?
I don't believe he did. I think his name was on the
Mm-hmm.
bill.
Mm-hmm. You know
He
what? I look, I'm sorry. I am tired of politicians that want to pimp folks. Open your mouth and say you oppose it. Don't be the no sneaking around. Say, hey, you want to
in
say
the in
something
the
on the
room in the
bill?
back.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't be pimped. Now, come
No,
on, you
I know you don't be pimp, but that they wanted to. My thing is, why didn't he lead? You're supposed to be a leader. Why
right.
didn't you lead and you step on that podium and say, this is not good for Prince George's County and my constituents? Don't be doing all this. Hey, can you come over here and can you do this? No, stand up. We are tired of all of this. I'm sorry, in my eyesight, and I know you will never be pimped, but what he did was pimping because he didn't get up there and say it.
Yeah, they were celebrating all the bills that had gone through and acknowledging those that did not. And somebody said to me, "Well, Nick only talks about the things that are a success for him." And I was like, "Oh, wow, okay, if that's what you
See,
say."
and that you cannot serve your constituents when it's all about you. Don't say nothing because you MAGA. You're a part of a MAGA. You just a black Prince George's MAGA.
We need to come up with something because I call Mr. Ed and friends the rebels. We need to come up with something for the Dem Party because they put out that they're having a summit and gala. It's $300 for a ticket to the summit and a ticket to the gala. And you're going to come and hear from panelists, and they're going to talk about organizing teams and do all this. And I was like, that's not a workshop. We asked when we did the listening tour with them with Stuart Pittman, the chair, and Charlene Dukes, the vice chair. We talked about doing county level conversations, workshops that would not only bring together people who are entrenched in the political space, but people who are interested in learning more about the political space. Why should somebody have to pay $300 to go sit and hear you talk about how you need volunteers for the midterms in North Carolina and Georgia and all that stuff? That's not building a coalition.
What is that? CPAC? Is that the thing? It sounds like they're trying to do they're copying out of the GOP
Maybe
playbook.
so, but that's not your first step out the box. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
We need something different. People, Democratic Party people, South County Democratic people, the Eleanor Roosevelt Democratic Club people. Y'all need to talk to the people up here and tell them we have 30,000 employees of the federal government who were affected by the
And they're gonna pay a $300
freeze, and you want us to pay 300? Like, come on, that don't even make no sense.
No, because I'm telling you, that's intentional. That is intentional to make sure only those people that they want are
Right,
there.
right, because
That's
they don't want the
intentional.
objectors. They don't want the folk in the what they call them, the canaries in the mines. They don't want those
And they
people.
probably paying for those tickets for their folks.
Right.
Please.
So, what was next on the agenda, Sherman?
Yes.
Because I got another hit later.
Now, I just want, if you have not looked at the county budget, the budget the nice little budget that the county executive passed on to the county council, and they were clapping and happy and doing flips. You need to go look at that budget. If you don't want to sit back and read it, you can use some AI tools. You can use Notebook, LLM. You can use Claude, and you can ask them to analyze that budget for you and break it down so you can see all the stuff in there, that some stuff that just don't make sense,
Well,
funny
that
math.
parking planning money was definitely put into that fiscal 27 budget. I sat in on the CEX Elevate Civic training Monday night that she hosted along with her CAO, her chief of staff, her the county attorney, and one more official, and they went over the org chart, and she got more jobs than the Baker administration had, and racial segments of parking planning. And that's why I said when I read the bill the last show that etc. was a problem for me. How you gonna change something and say etc.? Etc. is very abstract. It has no beginning. It has no
You didn't
end.
watch The King and I?
No, I didn't.
Etc., etc., etc.
So yeah, so that's problematic for me. I see that Sherman put something in the chat. Are we transitioning? Okay.
I think so. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So oh, okay, thank you. So we're gonna move on now.
Well, yeah, we talked about how this was going to impact the FY 2027 budget because the county executive just was so sure, I guess, this was going to pass, and she just put this in her budget that we were going to have some transfers coming from park and planning. So
Right.
they had already planned the heist, man. I tell you.
Right. So let's I'm gonna add something to the list, and let's talk about this big push for economic development. They announced that they're gonna do a task force to talk about bringing businesses to the county. Today I've seen a story now that Kevin Durant, basketball player, Seat Pleasant native, Kevin Durant's company is part of the group purchasing the former Six Flags site. And he also is a partner in the purchase of some land in Suitland off of Silver Hill Road. And so that's all great, and I'm happy about that. But
yeah, where's the big corporation?
Kevin Durant is, I'm not saying he's not putting personal dollars in, but I have a little bit of a hesitation of celebration because and partners are, we may be able to find some names, but I feel like he's a front person in some of this, kind of like the way Colin Kaepernick
or Magic Johnson,
was the front person on that software that they got bought for to test at Largo High School. Supposed to be a pilot, which you don't pay for a pilot. If somebody chooses you, they should be covering the cost. And then I understood that Colin Kaepernick was paid for an appearance. Now, I don't know if the company's paying him for the appearance or Prince George's County's paying him for the appearance. But he's a paid spokesperson for this entity, which of course we know he's not an IT person. So we got to stop, putting people out front on these projects and tell the public who is really doing the business and what the business will entail. I mean, yay, they bought it. Now you got people talking about, it's going to be entertainment, mixed-use area. I got ideas.
But LaVon, let's go back to I always called it the crap on the boulevard. We were so excited because Magic Johnson was investing in Prince George's County. And the minute that investment went south, Magic Johnson was gone.
He ain't there no more.
So, they still my understanding, he removed his stake in that investment. We have got to stop being so, like you said, fooled by names. If it is not panning out, I don't believe Kevin Durant's going to keep putting his money into it. I don't care if he did grow up here in Seat Pleasant. It is about business. And so I don't want to see more malls and shopping centers, because then you're taxing people. You're telling the people you're already taxing to spend more money to bring in more revenues. If this is not going to be something where we are going to have corporations that are bringing employment so that we would be able to get some more income tax money, and if it's not like that, I just don't want to hear. Malls are dead. Shopping is dead. Those shopping centers are dead in this area. Let's just see what the plans are. But yeah, I'm like you. I'm not getting excited.
I'm not canceling out brick and mortar. I think that
brick and mortar, come on.
No, I'm not an online shopper. I was in the store the other day, had a great time looking around, got some cute stuff at JCPenney, got some stuff at Nordstrom. Couldn't believe I was in Nordstrom Rack. It actually looked decent in there.
Which Nordstrom Rack?
Over in Woodmore.
Oh gosh, please. I'm sorry.
I did last week. I couldn't believe the last time I was in there.
Have you gone to the one in Virginia, or have you gone to the one in Virginia?
No, because I don't.
Okay.
I'm trying not
I'm
to.
telling you.
Spend money.
I'm telling you.
But I'm just saying that it was better than the last time I was in there, which was probably 3 years ago.
But that's the problem, LaVon. They give us better than the last time, but they don't give us the same quality as they give the other neighborhoods.
Right.
Okay, and that's the argument that we've been having forever. And that's a good segue to my point about this task force group that they're starting to talk about businesses that need to come to Prince George's County. We are a majority immigrant county. And we have never had an agenda for being Black and what that means. I've said this on this show before, but until we sit down and talk about the racist criteria that doesn't apply to this area, we're going to keep having less than quality until we meet with the regional people and the people at the top of the companies to say, why does this Nordstrom Rack look like this versus the Nordstrom Rack over there? We have to confront the elephant in the room. And people in the past never wanted to say racism. I have had more arguments with people about this point. And over the years, ever since Landover Mall declined, we have gotten worse and worse and worse. And as we become more ethnically diverse, we are also becoming more impoverished. So some
But
people who've been here a long time, y'all may not ever get to see 4-star, 5-star Prince George's
but
County.
LaVon, I'm gonna push back just a little on this, and the reason why, because when I was down in Georgia and I was going into the Black communities in Georgia, and I remember I said to my sister-in-law, because it had gotten a little cold in Georgia, so I had to go find something to wear. So she said, "Oh, go to Target. They have plenty of stuff." I was just thinking, taking pictures because I was shocked because it was
Yeah,
like the Target that I see in Chicago. I said, "Wait a minute, matching tops and bottoms. I
yeah.
don't believe this." And they're all the same color.
Mhm.
And she was like, "Y'all don't have that up there in Maryland?" I said, "No, we don't have matching tops and bottoms." They had wear that you could wear, dresses that you could wear to work, and business casual work dresses, business casual suit, top and bottom matching. So I'm I'm not going to say it is all racism. It's just the experience and the quality of the people that we are putting in office who don't
Well,
know how to
no,
negotiate.
well, let me. So
We need to say
Sherman
that.
inputted that is some of the processes that we have in place that's discouraging. I'm just going to summarize it. That's discouraging to businesses. But Tanya, what I will also say to you is, I was in Macy's. This has been several years ago. The Macy's in Bowie, in the lingerie section, and the rep for one of the lingerie. I think it was Warco, Warcoal. Y'all know I don't have to worry about brasiers no more, so I don't think about that stuff. Um, and so she was saying that she was putting out like some colorful ones, and I was like, wow, these aren't going to last long. And she said, no, she said, I cannot get the buyers to order anything but basic styles for the Macy's in Prince George's County. She
Hmm.
said, I don't know what it is. It was a white lady. She said, well, Iverson has always had a history, but
Not
she,
always. Now, Iverson didn't
well,
always
I
have a
mean, in
history.
recent years.
Right.
And so she said, she said, for some reason, they don't put a product in these stores, but our data shows that people in Prince George's County, or people who look like the people in Prince George's County, like certain colors and styles and things like that. She said, why should you have to go across the bridge or to Annapolis or Montgomery County to
But
get it? So it is racism. It's
no, but I think it gets to that point that Sherman made too. I'm not saying that there's not some racism,
right.
but there is also that we're looking at, look at some of the policies that we have. Kids go in and vandalize things and steal things, and we go easy on them. There's a lack of accountability. And that's why Safeway has said they have pulled out of Black communities because of all of the theft and nothing that was being done. So uh, racism, there's part of it. That's true, but we are now sitting in a county that is governed by people that look like us.
But that's been
And
for a long time.
well, let me finish. They look like us, and I have, when I was down south, some of the things that I saw that made me think a little different because they have to deal with racism just as much as we have to up here. But the people make sure that they put their best and their brightest at the negotiation table. We're putting the ones with the facades and all the gift of gab, and we're putting them at the table. And that's
But
why we keep coming up short.
I think
but
you
I
might
think
be able to hear me now. I'm only going to be able to join by audio because something's wrong with my camera. But is part of this has a lot to do with the laws that we pass, the land use and zoning. When businesses and establishments are incentivized to build inside the beltway, not outside the beltway, let's look at infrastructure. I know there's people always say, it's racial indicators because there are some smaller towns that have, better amenities and stuff like that. But again, it boils down to the laws that we pass. And that's a huge factor. If you have a business and you have two prime locations, and one tells you that you're going to have to wait 2 years in order to open up your business, and you also want to have to pay more because you're outside
Hmm.
the beltway or something like that. But you can go to another location and there's more foot traffic coming through your doors, and it's going to take you 6 months, and you're not going to have to worry about any special exceptions or anything like that. What are you going to do? If you're not going to have to jump through all these hurdles, you're going to go with the one who has a direct bill. Plus, if you're incentivized in a different manner,
Hmm.
it's more stick than it is carrot. And when we do try to go on carrots, we go on too big damn carrots. They just close the whole field over. So it's a lot that we have going on in this county that a lot of people know of, but
Mhm.
very few people speak about it. And there's even a larger portion that is uneducated that don't know to talk about it.
but
But that
okay,
gets
and
to the
I
best,
would
Brent,
say,
that gets to our best and our brightest. We don't put them at the negotiation table.
and I would agree with both of what to both of you in what you said. But we're talking about a 30-year decline. And
But
there
look
has
at our elected
never,
officials for 30 years.
huh?
Look at our elected, look at our elected officials for 30 years.
Exactly.
But that's, I mean, I'm not disagreeing that our elected officials, what I'm saying is they didn't present a plan. They didn't say
Because
how do
again,
we stand against criteria. One of these grocery stores that people want, I can't remember which one, if it's Trader
Right.
Joe's, Whole
Trader
Foods,
Joe's,
All
whichever
right,
Walmart,
one,
yeah.
all the above.
hmm
they like to be near military bases.
Mhm.
So it was proposed that they be on this side, Westphalia, right? Because we have the largest amount of retired veterans in the country, right?
hmm
We don't have enough rooftops. It's not walkable. But yet, everything that opens up in Prince George's County becomes the number one sales in the country whenever we open. The TGI Fridays, I mean, the Applebee's in District Heights, one of the probably least appealing places to open up a restaurant, was like beat out Atlanta's Applebee's at the airport for months after months, if not for a whole year. So we are always very successful when we do open things, but we lose. We don't go in with a plan to defy whatever it is they're presenting to us.
but
I
that
know
And
I
Ruby
still
Susie's
that
in
gets back.
Clinton is the highest grossing as well.
I,
And no, go
say
ahead.
it again, you were
Say it again.
reverberating.
The echo on you, Sherman.
Can you hear me, Tuesday?
Now we
There
can
you
hear you.
go.
It's the highest grossing in the area as well. But I was going to have a commentary on it, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
But again, I think it still comes back to the same thing.
But
If you don't have the right people negotiating, you can have the best product and they don't know how to implement it right, it is not going to
well,
work.
you have to have a plan for negotiation coming
But if
out the
you
box.
but if you don't have the people who understand that and know how to put that together, it's just like the
I'm
the
sure Ingrid understands that. She was on the council.
Shut up,
That
Sherman.
doesn't mean that.
But
That
that
don't mean nothing because.
Sherman, Sherman. Ingrid
But
doesn't know, and I'm not
but
saying.
wait a minute. Let me finish. Let me say this point too. But when we were talking about that video that we just did, a planning board without urban planners, we got every different type of industry except for the one that's really important, the one that
Basket
knows how to
making.
right, basket making. We got an attorney, but we don't have, we got a realtor, but we don't have anybody that really understands how to do um, true urban planning, being able to look and say, exactly, being able to look at land and look at trends and be able to say, okay, based on what's coming, like that plan you're saying, this should be placed here in the county. This should be placed in this location in the county. And we have not had that. I remember when I left the county, when I came back to the county because of what I had seen in Montgomery County, one of the first things I was asking, do we have any urban planners up here? Does anybody really understand how to put things together? When we start building $300,000 homes across the street from houses that still had 1.5 bedrooms, still had asbestos siding in the house, and we're building $300,000 houses across the street from that. That made no sense.
No. As Wayne Curry said in the Washington Post story, he said, well, if we build executive houses, they will come. And I said, well, who was it they? And he, in my mind, and in the story, he said he expected corporations to come. So fast forward, when I met him in 2008, 9, and I was able to question him, he said that commercial development wasn't what he was focused on. And I said, but that was short-sighted. And I said, and the other thing that was short-sighted is the fact that Black people don't want to talk about being Black and how their money spends. Why don't we have an economic justice agenda, which is really what I was trying to get to with talking about Black people. In Atlanta, when they built up Buckhead and all of that, they had an agenda for economic justice. They had the people that you're talking about, Tanya. But what I found here when I was working for the Journal, and I wrote an op piece on the development of Dulles Town Center and the decline of Landover Mall. And I said, why can't we have a town center like Dulles has in Landover Mall? When are y'all going to start planning for the redevelopment of that? And when I tell you that the bougie Black people old enough to have come through Jim Crow told me that they were tired of protesting, they had spent all their young and now they were in a position where they could spend their money where they wanted, and they were going to drive across the bridge for their St. John's. That's the culture that got us to where we are. I kid you not. I will not say who the person is, but her husband was one of the leading voices, the few leading voices talking about shopping in Prince George's County and the Black dollar. And that woman told me that's what my husband does. I spend my money that I earn every day where I want, and I will drive to Tyson's to buy my St. John's because I can't get it here no more. And so we have
sound like a southern implant, but go
well,
ahead.
that's what we suffer from here because people don't want to protest. They didn't want to do. They told me, Levon, we don't have to do it. We're in the room. And as a country, we are now, as a people, suffering from that mindset. They thought that once they integrated everything and they were the VPs of this and the CEOs of that and sitting on the boards of the other, that all of that would manifest into success. But it didn't. You got to have constantly moving parts. You can't stagnate one aspect of our lives and not do the other. And so all I'm saying is we are now in a space where we have what Tanya said, people who are not qualified to have a conversation. They just now buying houses. They just now finishing college. They just now getting their first automobiles. we have to look at who's coming. If I'm a millionaire, if I have spent 30 years building my wealth and my success, these little raggedy ninjas cannot come and tell me nothing. Like, okay, so let's transition to that child care conversation. Crystal, Chair Oriata, decided it's time to pass
I'm
some
sorry, but
child
real quick,
care.
Derek looks so worried. Are you okay, Derek?
Y'all, I'm glad you can see my face.
Well, I've been contemplating on whether I was going to say this about um, businesses or whatever these upper echelon types of businesses in our county and why they probably shy away. And I don't y'all get mad at me because I love y'all. Y'all are my people. But we 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 have to learn how to act when we get nice places too. We can't go up there tearing stuff up and shooting and fighting and there is systemic racism there, but we also have to take um we have to be responsible for our own actions when we get something nice.
I ain't no
If you
crook.
understand what I'm saying, I ain't saying you. I'm
You know what, Derek? You're absolutely right.
I'm just keeping it real.
As well
Yeah,
because I recall for the last few years, a lot of businesses have been so upset in this Click area because of crime. I remember talking to one of
right.
the shop owners. This is not campaigning, but just in general, we conversed, and she was like, she was thinking about switching her party because of the crime, and I'm like, well, love, that's not going to really do you much here in Prince George's, but
Or Maryland?
that is a problem. Her shop had been broken into 3 times. Let's not forget that Via Roma, one of my favorite pizza spots, they left Camp Springs because their shop was getting broken into, and that's
Right.
why we got
Right.
Slush now, which is another one of those
Mm-hmm.
spots. But you know, from there, and I went to Crafty Crab. What it was last week, I think before last week, and like the whole road had gotten itself broken into. So
See?
I definitely get that there's that element too as well, Derek, and
Mhm.
you have to worry about your insurance costs as well.
Absolutely. So I mean, we as a people that want better in our communities, we have to act accordingly when we get those types of things and take care of it. And people won't be afraid to bring their upper echelon businesses to our county.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're not gonna have that to worry about for long because white people gonna come back and get whatever they want. Because all these corrupt politicians gonna eventually pay the piper for their crimes, and the reintegration is going to happen. So that's my prediction. I may not live to see it, and I'm not speaking short of my life, but everything you do now typically takes 10 to 20 years to either happen or have impact. So in 10 years, I don't plan to be being concerned about what's happening in Prince George's County. Let me just say it like that, because I done had about enough of the shenanigans and the showmanships and the circus and all the things in Prince George's County. Like at some point, you just gotta. I'm not giving up on hope, but I just don't have to be I don't have to be in the circle of hope. I can just be on the other side saying, I wish y'all well, cause I just can't keep on. So let's talk about the chair Oriata's proposed child care legislation,
Oh God.
where she wants to implement new fees for businesses that she can't stand. I'm tired of them being in my district. Huh?
Syntax.
The syntax.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then
And
they
for
should be paying some big money if it's a syntax. But go
right,
ahead.
she said $5,000 annual fee to pay for child care services, and she wants it to be put on liquor stores, smoke shops, storage facilities,
Storage facilities. What's the
Yeah, because
crime
she
there?
don't like storage facilities either.
Well, I don't like legislators that create programs.
And I think it's one more business
Made up
type.
programs.
How can you discriminate gun stores, gun shops? Yeah. How can you discriminate against the
Hey,
very
Mark, my
businesses?
Second Amendment rights. Oh,
Yeah, I'm not giving up my Glock.
Discriminate against the very businesses that we do have paying commercial taxes in our county. Number
I
one.
know.
Okay.
They're not even understanding how the economy works.
They sure don't.
The taxpayer always pays the cost. Everything that we do is passed on to
Right.
us, and I am sick and tired of paying for everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, if the residents and the passers through of Prince George's County didn't support said businesses, they would not want to set up here in Prince George's County. So again, as Derek said, some of this is on us as consumers, as Sherman referenced. Now, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't need a storage facility right now, but I've used it. But I was in and out. Like I wasn't. Some people got 3 and 4 units.
I just don't understand storage because some businesses use it to store their supplies.
Right.
That's just how
Right.
stupid. Yes.
We are living in a very capitalistic consumerism society, and some people have to downsize, but there's still things that they want to keep.
Exactly.
See, yes.
So
you know what? This is again.
And
This is
I
what
and I'm not
happens
a
when
gun.
all you. This
I'm
is.
not. Wait a minute. I'm not a
go
gun
ahead.
person, but I understand the need for guns. So instead of focusing on those
Tanya is, and
people,
I
So we're
agree.
supposed to go to Virginia to buy the
well, no,
guns?
I'm just saying that what we need to do instead of them focusing on penalizing these companies for the services that we obviously as a people support because don't nobody stay where they're not making any money. Why don't you look at some of the issues that are surrounding these type of businesses and figure out where we need to do some support services for people. Oh, but by the way, we were worried about gambling in the county and we let Mr. Ed bulldoze his way into the MGM impact money that's supposed to fund services that are related to the challenges that entity created.
And that ain't grass cutting.
So they talking out of both sides.
But you know what? Let me say this real quick, Sherman. You again, you just validated my point as to we don't put our best and our brightest at the negotiation table in elected office. All they see is what is happening in my life. So it has to be a problem for everybody else.
Yep.
It's the.
Let me play devil's advocate here. There is a large portion of people who are, they're speaking their love language because a lot of people always bring these, oh, we don't want any more chicken spots, we don't want any more gas stations, we don't need more smoke shops, we don't need more storage facilities, we don't want townhomes, and etc. We don't want. And when you think about it, the problem is not necessarily those establishments, but it is the lack thereof of the accompanying establishments.
Right.
If all you see are these things happening,
right.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's what they need to focus on.
Yeah, but I can understand saying we don't need another Royal Farm. We don't need another Wawa. We don't need. I can understand when we're sat. But wait a minute. Let me finish though. I can understand if it's oversaturated with a certain business. I can understand seeing curtailing that. What I don't understand is to say things that to me just make no common sense. I'm tired of storage units. We have the highest rate of evictions in Prince George's County. People have to put their stuff somewhere. I mean, that to me, that makes no sense. Guns are regulated. So, and yes, we do have some illegal guns out there, but for the most part, guns are regulated. So don't come bring us your your religious, your righteous, overly righteous beliefs, self-righteous belief, whatever, and start whatever it is. Don't come and bring your personal views and then say my constituents say, and then when they have a rally with the constituents, you see about 30 daggone people. We need legislators. And I said again, I thought that was the whole purpose of these at-large positions. Aren't they supposed to be looking across the county and bringing back what everybody's saying instead
Yep,
of all of these just small
yep.
districts? I mean, and I do
But
understand in her district, you do see a lot of a concentration of that. But you don't start saying you're going to close up those businesses. You look to
Right.
see where they may need to be placed in other places in the county. Again, we have people who are they walk with tunnel vision, they talk with tunnel vision, they go to sleep at night with tunnel vision, wake up with these ideas and tunnel vision, and then they want to implement them as programs and put laws behind it.
but the
It's
other
not
thing that they
sustainable.
the other thing that they need to focus on is enforcing some consistency in the facades of these businesses. Now, storage facilities have come a long way. They look like mini office buildings and things like that. But I know the neon lights bill had been an issue. People converting old houses into buildings and it still looks like a house was an issue. People putting paper signs up is against the law. Like there are ways in which they can enforce the rules that we already have to increase our revenue of fines. But guess what the problem is? We don't have inspectors who can go out and
Enforce.
execute
Hmm.
things because they only spend time responding. Case in point, I was at the mall at Forestville the other day and I had contacted Nick Charles about a big old hole that was um,
Parking.
in the parking lot that was very dangerous because you couldn't avoid it turning in. And so he said, I'll reach out to Council Member Bouguet and Happy Home. I mean, not Happy Home, not her. Council Member Hunter. And he said, because I don't have a relationship with the property management at the mall. And so I had not been back, but in a month's time, I was back and it had been done. But the rest of the parking lot is raggedy. So here's my
Mhm.
question. My question was like, well, if they could come out, if they had a vendor to come out and repair this big hole, why didn't they just get the vendor to go around and repair all the other holes? So I reached out to DPI and said, do you all have inspections and fines in place? And they said, well, if you report it, we can go and inspect it and address it accordingly. But
Well,
we don't have staff to. And so my thing is there are ways to show businesses that we want
right,
quality business. We may
right.
not agree with the business operation, but we don't have a problem with somebody doing good business and looking good in Prince George's County.
Well, see,
So
Well,
again,
they dropped boat, a boat. Tanya knows this. I mean, for 6 months I'm fighting them over. Someone dropped the boat, a whole boat coming up on Old Central,
That's the other county.
and I'm like, what? And I'm calling at first I called and, wait a couple of weeks and I called back. And then I looked on the boat, saw a Prince George's County number. So, it was licensed in some way through Prince George's County. Called 311 back and told them, here's a number. It said this was it. That boat still stayed there another 2 months.
was
It wasn't until I called them and said, this is absolutely unacceptable for a raggedy boat to be sitting there for over 6 months. So my neighbors and I are going to start a petition and we are going to protest at our representative's front desk. That boat was gone in 2 days. After that, 6 months.
Well,
And the dead deer that was here during the snow, sat there forever. Why?
because he was
Because
helping the ground. Go ahead,
listen,
Jared.
I remember coming up as a young brother, a young supervisor. We were required to ride our areas that we supervise in our government vehicles, and I know they would do this in DPW and on the county side government. You have supervisors like Metro has street supervisors, as they call them, and your part of your responsibility is to ride your areas that you supervise. And let's go back to Forestville Mall parking lot. That place is atrocious. You can roll up in there and have to get a whole new front end on your car if you're not paying attention where you're driving. But there are people, predominantly African Americans, going there every day, spending their hard-earned dollars and stuff and spending their money in these businesses. What are you saying to your community when we got to roll up in there and our cars got to sit in a pothole while we go into the store? It's just like and again, our behaviors up at Forestville Mall historically have not always been the best. So there has to be a concerted effort on the public side to show that we want better, and we got to push our government officials to understand that we're worth more than a pothole-filled parking lot when we go to the shop. I mean, come on, don't we want to beautify our county? I guarantee you can't go to Montgomery County and find a parking lot at a shopping center that looks like the one in Forestville Mall. That's because they respect their people more there. And they this last point, and they require the behaviors of their community when they're out shopping and using these facilities to be what it's supposed to be. Now I'm gonna let y'all read through the lines on that, black people. We got to do better.
Yeah. Well, like the lines in the parking lots how hard is it for an inspector to take a Monday and go through a parking lot at 6 a.m. in the morning, 7, whatever, and ride through the parking lots, even if you broke it up by districts. Wait. Okay, District 1 is this Monday, District 2 is the next Monday, and just say, okay, these parking lots need to be repainted.
Right.
That's not their job, though.
And then you rotate it and you do the next 10 or so parking lots.
Sure. Is it the owners of the mall or the responsibility to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then once they don't do it, then if you complain, then there needs to be accountability. There needs to be accountability because they don't do it.
But how are you going to expect that from the shop owners when the county ain't even doing their own?
I was going to say.
Well, yeah, the lines
expecting a little too much. I mean,
but
what we do? Let it go.
Yeah, you can't look. You gonna fuss at your father and tell him to go do his job.
Do as I say and not as I do. Shit. How many of y'all said that to you?
No, but think about it.
You're gonna have people go enforcing into shopping centers for our convenience when there are safety issues on our actual roads that these inspectors should be spending their times on. So I would say,
my point is they still should be held accountable.
Right.
The shop owner.
Yeah, of course.
We have.
But why should the shop owner be held accountable if it's outside?
It's not the shop owner, it's the owner of the property. Whoever owns the mall is responsible for the exterior upkeep of it.
Yes.
And
but now let me ask you this. But what if they're having problems with vandalism and they keep calling the county because of the amount of vandalism? They're supposed to continue to clean up behind all of that?
No, we were talking about potholes.
I'm talking about cleanup. I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about potholes. Okay,
I'm talking about paving the parking lot and painting the line.
That's the responsibility of the
property owner.
Property owners.
You know what? I was shocked when we had that big storm I was shocked when I went up to that shopping center in Clinton and how they had people driving on ice going up to the drive-through restaurant. You're sliding up to the drive-through, and I was just like, I remember the days when I worked McDonald's. We were all out there shoveling and moving the snow to make sure everybody was safe. I couldn't believe how much ice was out there in
Pappy
those parking.
Parker's, we used to do it too at Pappy's. Y'all remember Pappy Parker?
I
Yeah,
remember Pappy
I think
Pocket
I was
Chicken.
about 2 years old.
Oh, okay. Okay. Look at that. Look, okay. Rub it in.
So I'm
I
gonna tell you
remember
like
Pappy
this.
Pocket fried
That
chicken.
was my first
It was
job.
in the aluminum foil. You pick it out of the little hot oven area.
I'm
So
gonna
It was
tell you like
my
always
this.
good.
point though,
When I was stationed in Cheyenne, Wyoming,
m-
I had
my
to go out there in the snow and bring them carts in. I sat in my car.
Yeah, we had to too.
oh
I
We
wow.
didn't
look, we
catch
had
it.
to spot windows in the winter.
No, I
So
wasn't gonna do it.
my point, and a lot of these youngins won't do it either. And so, but my point of bringing it up is we can all agree that we need to generate some revenue in this
Hmm.
county. But
Yeah.
what we cannot afford is possible lawsuits because you have indiscriminately or discriminately decided that you want to pick on companies that you don't like. Like, that's not professional. It's not
No.
good governance. And so, why not sit down and look at what we have in place already? And even if you hire people seasonally to go, because you can't look at parking lots and there's the snow on the ground. So why not put in a season? And y'all having this for free. Y'all can take and run with it. Y'all people running for office. I don't care. But why not sit and figure out where your gaps in staffing and services are and enforce the rules that are already on the
That's
books?
right.
And I
But
don't mean no disrespect to people who are having hardships with childcare. This
Right.
all started at the federal government level. So then it went down to the local governments. My father's daycare, his church suffered greatly when DCPS and the mayor decided that 3-year-olds should go to elementary schools. That cut
Mm.
out more than half of his students, and half of them, or more than half of his students, were on subsidized care. And so
hmm
I understand that people have babies that they can't afford to take care of, lose jobs, and they got to go look for a job, so they still need child care. But we are already strapped in Prince George's County. We already have child care services
I
and
was going to say, yeah.
programs in place. So we're creating more need to be funded instead of figuring out how to better support what is in existence. And you've been doing this for your friends.
But and not only that, do they really know that we have these things already in
Well,
place?
let
That's
me
the
say
other thing
this.
that I understand.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
think they necessarily do, because the other day there was a post about the council having its first domestic violence work group meeting or something. And I was like, oh no, that's not true. We did domestic violence as an initiative in the Baker administration. The council picked up on it and got specific funding allocations for it. We had a whole ad campaign that was funded through the Department of Justice. We did faith outreach so that churches would stop saying to women or men, just stay there and try to figure it out. So we were giving them training on how to handle domestic violence situations in their churches. It went by the wayside under the also Brooks administration. So what I did was I pulled up, somebody sent me some links, and I sent it out to the person that needed it. Like, they are literally acting like they are building the wheel.
Well, they're building their own little social services network
Yeah.
all over again instead of and granted there was a lot lacking with the also Brooks administration, but that's why we have checks and balances.
Yeah, she was
When
the first.
agencies Yeah, when agencies are not performing, then the council should be bringing them before the council and asking why. Not saying, well, let's go find some money and let's go do
Absolutely.
another program and let's get one of
Absolutely.
our buddies to open up a nonprofit or an LLC and they'll do it. No, because we still don't even know if you're doing it right.
And then my thing is, they got a whole social justice center that sits next to the courthouse on Main Street.
Yeah.
That was established as a concern for women needing services, especially those who were going through the court system. And they needed a safe environment. And they put nonprofits in there so they could have immediate care. Under the also Brooks administration, she liked telling people she was the first state's attorney, deputy state's attorney assigned to domestic violence, but she didn't do nothing with it when she got in office. All that went by the wayside. People were resigning from the Commission for Women. Those women's issues were not done. And so I keep trying to tell people, we are not, when I say we, CAG, we are not bashing what's happening for the sake of bashing what's happening. What we're saying is these people are just waking up, like Tanya says, and say, "Ooh, I have a great idea today." And they are treating our county coffers like a trust fund that they didn't build the business up. Their great granddaddy built the business and they're just benefactors.
And they're so excited. I got some great news. I mean, come on. Why not
everything don't need to be a press event.
Right. I wonder how much money we're spending and with all this audio video that we're doing, or this media publicity of everything.
Girl.
You plug a pothole, everybody got to see it. I mean, it's enough. Just enough.
All right, let's see what's next. Okay, what you said, Derek?
I was gonna say, since y'all on potholes, please send somebody down McKendree Road down in Akakeek. That thing, boy.
Send them over here to Port Washington too.
Your car fall in the pothole. It's so bad.
Wow.
Come on, y'all. We gotta do better.
I just had my car repaired because I hit a pothole that was so bad that it popped something underneath, and I had to get it repaired. And it's about to happen again if I don't keep weaving and wobbling like Speed Racer down the road. It's about to happen again.
You gotta report that spot to the county, Tanya. They used to allow you to report that spot, and they would reimburse you some of your maintenance costs because the streets are not supposed to be that bad.
They sure did. You
said and I can vouch for that because I did that once before. That was back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, we already broke.
These folks are broke.
Be careful on 301 going from Upper Marlboro into Bowie because those lanes are so raggedy from the construction that's been going on. I guess they're widening the roads. But let's go ahead and head on into the next topic, which is election 2026 and endorsements. And we appreciate all of the candidates who have posted themselves on our Facebook page. We don't mind candidates giving their profile, what their platform is, where people can get more information. But we don't want you just campaigning. Give us some information that is useful. Tell us what your position is on what's happening in Prince George's County now, because that's really telling us what your game is going to look like should you get elected. We don't want to know what you think of you want to do. We want to know, give us some insight as to where you are. Kind of treat the page like a online forum opportunity. Something happening in the news today, post it with your commentary. We don't have a problem with that because people want to hear from you. People want to be engaged. Number two, y'all, we do the best we can sharing information. But please remember, this is not a full-time job. Am I working full-time? No, I'm not. But I'm not going to do this full-time.
Can we?
Is Sherman saying something?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought I heard something.
I did too.
I did too.
I have very few hours, but I try to use them very productively to get information out to the public.
Right.
So
And so I'm going to be taking
And I for
time.
sure have very little information. I mean, little time because I'm out here doing the Lord's work. I'm out here doing the Lord's work, and I am also trying to campaign. It is very hard and very stressful. And I know the people online said they can't hear me. I don't know what's going on with my video or my audio today, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, it's
Well,
quite
maybe,
challenging. So I hope y'all join me out here in this talk about accountability because
yeah,
it's very important.
accountability is a buzzword. Everybody's using accountability now. And so
Yeah,
we
we even
know,
have global accountability people now.
yeah,
Hey,
we know.
can I say this, Levon,
Go ahead.
piggybacking on the candidates that are using our platform to put themselves out there. You see that big accountability flashing across our group. That is what we are about. So when you post what you are about and what you're going to bring to the county and you win, don't think we don't have a copy of what you're saying, and we're going to be looking at that because
we'll call
those are the
you
types
out.
of people that we need. We need
Hmm.
people who are going to say what they're going to do and then get in there and do it and not be
Say what
afraid
you mean and
of
mean what you say.
yeah, exactly. And don't get afraid of the bureaucracy because you
Right,
know it's coming once you get into politics.
Yeah,
right.
because
And let me help.
we will call you out if you decide you want to do
Yes,
politics on the other side.
Right.
yeah.
Unwavering
And
integrity.
Respectfully, we're gonna call that
right. And
behind.
don't
I'm sorry.
don't placate segments of the county. That's a turn off for me.
Hmm.
So yes, seniors have needs, but all seniors ain't struggling.
Right.
Yes, children need good education, but all the children ain't struggling. All the
Right.
schools ain't struggling. Yes, toddlers and babies need formula and diapers, but they all ain't struggling. Let's not forget the people in the middle who just want to be
Hmm.
able to drive down
Right.
a road that don't have 10 potholes, they spend the money that they've earned
Right.
and have a clean, well-stocked store. Like some of us are just regular everyday people. We don't live in the extreme. And I'm not new in politics, but I feel like it has been exacerbated with the onslaught of social media and people getting snips and wanting clicks and likes. I see through it. My cohort partners see through it. We ain't for the shadiness, okay? And so
Hmm.
when the thing that what we wanted to talk about is how to figure out who's running for office. Stop telling us what we need to post, and y'all need to go and learn how to look up information. You can search Yahoo for the hottest restaurants, for the cheapest air flights and all that stuff. You need to do a search on who's running for office in Prince George's County. And so
Hmm.
you can go to the website for the State of Maryland Board of Elections. It is elections.maryland spelled out .gov/elections /2026, and then you'll get to primary candidates or whatever. And so there are a lot of people running for office. So we have to sit as a team and figure out how we're going to highlight these candidates going forward, what that scheduling looks like, uh, who we want to interview. We're not obligated to give equal airtime to every candidate. So if we don't ask you to come on, no shade. We just don't feel like we should take time from maybe a more qualified candidate to give a lesser qualified candidate time, right? And so endorsements. So well, let me before I get to endorsements. So when you're looking for a cat, and y'all can chime in and say how you may look at a candidate as well. So you go to the website that I gave you, and you look for your. Right now, we have a congressional seat in District 5. If you don't know where you live, you can do a search. Just put in where do I
Who are my
what
representatives?
district
You
do
can do
I
who are
live
my
in
Well, there's a
representatives.
couple
for
of them that does
council
that.
Prince George? Georges County. It'll give you the site, and then you can put in all the other seats, or it'll give you all
It's
of
on
your.
arcgis.com. I'm gonna put it on the screen in a second.
Okay.
Okay.
So it'll give you all of your elected districts, right? So you learn that first of all. Then you go to the website with the elections information, the candidates, and you have a congressional district 5. You have a county executive race. You have a state's attorney's race. You have a clerk of the court race. You have a register of will race. Those are kind of like the state seats, but local. Then you have, did I miss anything? I think I covered all of them. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
then you have the
Like some
sheriff,
judges, yeah.
and then you have the judges.
We
And
gotta
then,
start talking about the judges.
right, then
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Here come the judge. Yes, yes.
and then you have your county executive race,
Mm-hmm.
and you have your council race, and you have some school board members who are running.
Yeah.
Then you have your state senators and your state delegates. Now, the only race that you have
Let me
more.
simplify this for the people, Levon, because a lot of people don't know.
What?
Your delegates are like the Congress people for the state.
Oh, yeah, okay. So,
yeah.
so in the council seat, you get to vote 3 times because you have your district council person, and then you have 2 at-large seats that you're voting for. Even though they do have legislation, a bill pending in the council to get rid of the at-large seats. So that'll be interesting to see.
In the council? Oh, they
Yeah,
do?
they want to
Oh,
put it
okay.
on the ballot to get rid of for people to vote to get rid of. That's a Tom DeNoga bill. So if y'all let Tom DeNoga win this vote, he is gonna walk around being the big white boy in Prince George's County because he done shut down the legacy of a Wayne Curry, and he done shut down a legacy of Rashawn Baker. He done
Well,
shut down.
I'm sorry. I don't. That's me. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the
Yep.
thing about it is, we're talking Tom DeNoga been in this game for 40 years plus, and he has taken leadership among the rebels. And now this is his. Oh,
Yeah,
you don't.
he
Wait,
admitted it. He
wait.
admitted it.
I'm not even, we're not even gonna talk about I'm gonna talk about Calvin. I mean, well, we don't have to talk about Calvin Hawkins, but what I'm saying is that Tom DeNogo was not part of the power structure of Prince George's County for the last 40 years, right? He's been influential, but he has not been the top dude. And if he gets this ballot question on the general election, if he gets this on there and it passes, he goes down as being the man who got it done.
But
That's my
I don't. I
he
guess
gonna
I
go
don't.
out with a feather in his hat, and that's gonna make that man feel like he is the most victorious person ever.
But I guess I see it a little different because I don't like the positions.
But it's
I don't
not
think.
about liking the positions. It's
But let me finish.
about Tom.
I don't think it's so much a feather in his hat. I think to me it's just doing something that is rational because those positions have not shown any worth. I
Right. That's not
well that well that that's
right.
true
Like
too.
Sherman, like Calvin and Mel, did not do. Now there are people who say that seats were created for Calvin and Mel. Well, the people voted for Calvin and Mel. It doesn't matter why the seats were created. They got the votes, and they did not serve the seats the way the seats were supposed to be served. Jolene Ivy has made an attempt to look like she's doing what is supposed to happen with this at-large seat, but unfortunately, we can attribute the musical chairs catastrophe to Jolene Ivy. If she had stayed in, right, if she had stayed in her District 5 seat, we wouldn't be doing all of this stuff. So we have, to me, Tom DeNoga wants to get rid of the at-large seats because he doesn't like the fact that he's got 2 votes that can come against him for his district. His posture is the very reason why at-large seats are important, because you cannot only make decisions about Prince George's County based on your zip code or where your district lines are. Right, but he's the one. But I hear you, but he's the one sponsoring the bill. I'm just saying that historically he's been against it, and now this would be his what do they call it? His bon voyage, his his something. I can't think of the words right now, but he has been the stepchild in the power structure of leadership in Prince George's County. And all these youngins have given him this last hurrah, and here we are. And so that's what I'm saying. So anyway, back to the
are we streaming? Because I don't see us. Okay.
So back to the voting. So then we get to comparing the records of people. Y'all got to do searches. You got to go look for voting records. Now, I'll tell you, with the council, you can't find voting records. You have to ask for it. So if there's some issues that are of particular interest to you, you need to start sending your emails for your FOIA requests to get voting records. That's something that we really need to be focused on going forward as well. And then the other thing is, you all have to know the difference between what is a state issue, a federal issue, and a local issue. People are talking about, well, we don't have no Republicans. Does that, with a council government, a council seat, I don't know that party lines play a big role as much as you need to listen to the candidates and where they're aligning on your issues. And I know Republicans can't vote in the primary. So y'all people that want to keep drumming up the Republican conversation, it's really okay. Well, okay, sorry. And so my point is, look at the relevance of your position to a candidate. What is a candidate saying or not saying about this issue? Because party really isn't a big point of contention in local races, right? Not to say one day it won't be, but right now in this primary it's not. So don't frustrate yourself. We want everybody to vote in the primary for every seat. The last thing I'll say is endorsements. Endorsements are like banners at an arena for a sports game. Just because they advertise in Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola is the chosen vendor for their drinks, don't mean you got to drink a Coca-Cola. You may decide you just want to have bottled water that day, or you might decide you're going to have a beer. It's just something to maybe guide the conversation about candidates, but pay attention to who is doing the endorsements, who are the leadership. And let's just say, for example, for the sake of conversation, we have Progressive Maryland. And they was real bold sending out all that stuff, right? And
canary yellow.
I can't be heard. Why can't I? I don't know.
No,
we hear you.
Sherman.
Oh, and so they were real bold putting the endorsements out already, and we're not gonna go down the whole list. But this group has, along with some other folks who are CAG people, we don't have names for our CAG people. We have to come up with a like a name for everybody that follows CAG. We are hashtag.
I call them my accountability buddies.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Sherman
Accountability
said my
buddies.
accountability buddies. Okay.
Okay.
Oh no,
Nice.
I said
So
that's what I call them. Y'all can do
oh,
something
okay.
different.
So
We
for
can
today,
call them what you call them, Sherm. You don't have the right to all of the words.
so our accountability buddies, we have something that we joined in with Jonathan Newton. Hashtag replace them all. Well, we can't replace them all because 3 of the 11 council members are not running with opposition, which I think is a dang shame. District 2, Eric Olson, I think that's District 2. I always get 2 and 3 mixed up. Eric Olson, Crystal Oriata in 7, and Mr. Ed in District 8. They are running unopposed. So with the council, this is a game, y'all. You have 11 people, right? So for the sake of this session, 11 people right now means that a block would be 6 votes. Now, having a block or a majority is nothing new with the council. What is new with the council is this effort to be conniving and manipulating funds, and we brothers and sisters
Just
and
say, just say corrupt. Just say
okay, they
corrupt.
corrupt. And this unified government and their vendetta, their open vindictiveness, right?
You know what that sounds like? That sounds
What?
very Trumpian. We are united
Yeah.
government. There's no more checks and balances. There's no
Okay,
more
Sherman
auditors.
says it sounds Trumpian. That's
Yeah.
what I say. MAGA.
Everybody I talk to who don't pay attention says, oh my God, that sounds like Trump. Okay, anyway, so 6 votes is what they need. So they have 3. So there were some rumors about who was going to run where, and I think people got scared and thought they might lose, so they decided to stay where they are, and other people were convinced not to run against them because they're afraid because these people are so powerful and all this stuff. Well, I promise y'all, if somebody said you can escape the plantation tonight and take your chances, most of y'all would be running off the plantation. So y'all need to start treating this like a plantation, even though it's black people in charge. Okay, so that they need 3 votes, right? 3 votes to become a block again. That's District 1. That's District 3. That's District 4. 4 and District 5. If they can get those 4 seats, they become the block again plus 1. Now, if it's a 2/3 vote, then they need 8 people. So then you stepping it up. So you all have to pay attention because the president of what's the Progressive Maryland is the husband to the District 5 member Shayla
The one who
Adams
stole the
Jackson.
$36,000.
$36,111.92.
$11.92.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
and
they
not
are
the
looking-
government, but the Prince George's County
Taxpayers.
public schools.
Yes.
They owe it to the Prince George's County schools. So this is money taken off the backs of our scholars.
Right.
And mind
So
you, they
these-
already behind 50-70 million.
Well, I heard they're about to add another 200, another 100 to that.
So
Hundreds what, man?
I was told that it looks like there's going to be another $100 million added to the school deficit for a whopping total of $250 million.
Come on.
So y'all cannot vote for these people because one of the challenges that PGCPS is facing is the involvement of council members in PGCPS business. Now, we already know that county executives weigh in sometimes, and that may not be the best thing. That's up for debate. But what we have never really seen, to my experience is council members having so much input in what's happening in
In
PTC,
the budget,
in the
the
budget.
the budget that they're going to approve.
Right, and that they get to exhaust if they want to. And so we really need y'all to pay attention to who the unions are endorsing, who Progressive Maryland has endorsed,
Mm-hmm.
who politicians are endorsing. If they are endorsed, if a seat, let me be very clear. If a seated member, as in an incumbent, is being endorsed by those entities or a senator, they should be an automatic no. Period. Because we don't want them back.
Yeah,
Because
people
And
don't realize when they say we want new blood, and just because the face change doesn't mean the blood change, because that DNA is
Mhm.
still up in there.
right. And
right,
we know it's going to be there because we got those three ringleaders, right? And so you got it. We're going to break this down by council district a little bit more because for me, it's the council district seats that are the most critical right
right
now.
now. Mm-hmm.
And we don't have time to go through all of the delegates and all that kind of stuff. But that's how you can start evaluating the quality or the character and then the experience of these candidates. And trust me, they got their friends as spoilers in these races. Just because you
Right.
see 8 people in a race don't mean 8 people wanted to run. That just means they found some people who were willing to put their name in the pot
Yeah.
so that you could get some votes.
Go rent a room and put their name in it. And one other thing that I want to add that's really important that we need to remember, any person that because Progressive Maryland has a tendency also of say that they are endorsing somebody who didn't
Yep.
even know.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing that only because they know the negative connotation that they attach to that person's name. So
Mm-hmm.
people that have these endorsements, if they're not willing to renounce them because they say I didn't accept their endorsement. If they're not willing to renounce it, then go ahead and
Yeah.
include them as part of the party.
I didn't even
Uh, um,
send in my questionnaire for Progressive Maryland.
you said what?
I didn't even I didn't send mine back.
Oh, now
That's the
Sherman
only
said he
group that
didn't
I
even
haven't.
send his back. And, and
For the simple fact, I don't know if they're going to be investigated by the FBI. For
that,
those funds that they get from those project charges, and and giving kickbacks to elected officials who
okay,
support
that
their
when
organization
Allegedly.
allegedly.
when
Oh, I was going to
but
say
when
that.
the
Trust
Sherman,
me.
we gotta repeat what you're saying, and this is important. So Sherman said he didn't send it back because he's not sure if they're going to be investigated by the FBI because of all these project charges and what else, Sherman?
And kickbacks that they're doing. They're
Oh, that's
giving
right,
to their elected officials.
kickbacks.
You got
Exactly.
to be careful with that. I don't know how. That
Right.
Oh,
concerns me a bit.
Sherman, you are dead on the money. How is it that an organization goes from revenues of about $400,000 annually. And then all of a sudden, Edward Burrow gets on the county council. He gets all of the adults in the room to act like kids and to pass an amendment to CB 099 of 2022 that opened up the floodgates for nonprofits to start getting all of this activity of providing government services. And Maryland, Progressive Maryland goes from revenues of about $400,000 in 1 year to I think it was like 2.34 million in 1 year. These are your tax dollars, people, that was given because Edward Burrows got on the council. He saw what needed to be changed. And even Calvin Hawkins, who's no longer on there, when I talked to Calvin Hawkins about it, he's like, yeah, Miss Wingfield, you're right. We need to look into that. Well, he just looked the other way because he left. So we need to make sure that
He was
you,
compromised.
yeah, well, allegedly,
No, he was
because
compromised, and he
but
can sue.
we need to make sure that you look into all because we have been following the money. Another questions that you need a question rather that you need to ask these county council candidates, ask them about their view of checks and balances for having an accountable and
Well,
trustworthy
shoot, you know they
government.
don't want that. If they got
Well,
rid of
and
the
exactly.
IG, then they trying to get rid of Frank Turner.
Oh yeah,
Ethics.
they're trying
God
to get rid
bless
of
him.
Frank Turner. Yeah, because that's very important. Frank Turner, the Office of Integrity and what is it,
And compliance.
Compliance.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying
Mhm.
to get the council wrote that when they convinced that bill to be written by a state senator on Edward Burrow's behalf, they thought that they were going to write the bill so that Edward can control the school board. But of course, it didn't work out there. Spoiler, it didn't work out that way. You know, the grave that he dug was for him on that one. And so now they
Literally.
don't like what Frank Turner is doing and now trying to get rid of him. You all need to let your council member know they better not try to remove somebody who is holding the school system accountable. It is
Mhm.
crazy. He's holding the school system accountable where our money is being wasted and council members, because the school board members that were being caught, like Shayla Adams Stafford, stealing $36,111.92
And David
false
Murray,
with,
who
with
had what,
false
14?
invoices, and David Murray, who was in Missouri and collecting a paycheck as a sitting board member because Frank investigated them. And this
Mm-hmm.
is on video. You got Edward and Ariana saying, "Yeah, we need to look into why is he investigating school board members? Because that's what he was
Oh,
supposed to
no,
do."
no. He said former school board members. Then
Right.
why are
Well,
we
yeah,
paying
as
$1 million
former.
for that? See, what he wanted to do was get that $1 million at Jones' house.
It doesn't matter that you are gone from the job. You commit the crime. The crime has already been committed.
That's right.
It was committed by you. That is why he investigates them. So when
Ongoing
you have
controversy.
yeah, yeah, and when you have a chair of the council and a vice chair of the council sitting up on camera questioning why is somebody investigating someone abusing our tax dollars and say we really need to look into him, people understand. If this council attempts to try to fire Frank Turner, you all need to be up in arms because this is just nothing but more corruption and an abuse of power. Yeah, Edward, I'm saying that. Mr. Ed, Miss Ariana, yeah, I'm saying it.
In
If
Puerto
you
Rico right now.
try
He
to,
ain't paying you no attention.
oh, that's right, that's right. He took kids to Puerto Rico. Yeah, we need to talk about that too. If you all attempt to have one of your closed board meetings and try to do that, we need to definitely go after this council because nobody else is holding anybody else accountable at this
Nobody.
point. Go
Mhm.
to the
Nobody.
website, go to the OIC website and look at the reports that Frank Turner and his staff has put out about the corruption in our school system, the abuse of money in our school system. And we got attorneys sitting up there every day being paid and saying nothing. Shipley Horn need to ship on out of the Prince George's County school system. Y'all need to
So
just
they
ship
making a
on out
check.
And he been doing the
because
investigations light.
exactly.
Because he
He's
hadn't
been
really.
doing it right.
Well, I
And
said
he does it by the
investigation
law.
light because he hasn't gave him the full tea.
No, he I don't think it's light because what
Not
he
in
was
all the investigations.
well
If he
he
really
was
wanted to go in with House.
oh well I think that's in the works. I mean, that's not finished. That's a big egg to crack, the thing with House. And speaking of House, I'm sorry, let's shift for a quick minute. There's some information that I got from some parents about, again, the budget, what's going on with our school system. And I'm gonna get right now, I'm just gonna give you a summary. I'm just gonna get more information, but it has to do with about $17 million that was in reimbursement that was lost. And um, from eh, from the information that we have received, um, you can bet because of the date of the timeline here, I guarantee you that Dr. Sean Joseph is going to try to say that this happened under Mr. House administration when it didn't. And we're going to put in, so basically, this loss of money, there was a cutoff time as to when money had to be, they said encumbered or really earmarked. But you had until 2026 to do this final reimbursement request, I believe it is, for this money. So even though the deadline that happened was in 2024, the final deadline for the reimbursement was in 2026. And so that's under Sean Joseph. And we have a feeling he's going to try to spin this because he's going to just show that 2024 number to everybody and not show that 2026 number when he came waltzing in here with his blue suit and hands folded and start talking about his 100-day chat GPT plan that he put out for us and didn't start looking at the very integral parts of this system. The other thing we're going to be looking at because remember, the CFO, Lisa Howe, she put forth a balanced budget for this school system when House was still in place. Sean Joseph, following the plan of the corrupt progressive Maryland folks, I have never, and this is recorded, y'all. This is on public record for us to hear. I've never heard the superintendent saying, "Oh, I'm going to check with the county executive about the budget." Why? She has nothing to do with the school budget. That's what you were hired to manage. You're the treasurer. You're the treasurer of PGCPS. But let's see if Dr. Sean Joseph attempts to try to say that this missed $17 million reimbursement is the fault of the CFO and try to push her out of her job. Let's watch and see if that's what he tries to do. And if he does, that just goes to speak more to his corruption and why he cannot be selected as the permanent superintendent for our schools. Because he doesn't even take accountability for his own action. You're the one who put forth that 100-day template plan for the school system. Talking about you don't use it before for other superintendents that you trained. Well, you didn't. Apparently, must not have worked because you couldn't even make it work for yourself. But let's look at that. We're going to get more information on that. And I want to thank the parents out there that are being diligent and looking at this budget and attending these meetings and letting us know what's going on. But $17 million we didn't get reimbursed for because they missed the 2026 deadline for reimbursement.
Deliberate.
No, it wasn't deliberate. It's just it's negligence. They just didn't do. He did not take the time to sit down because you got to remember he started firing institutional knowledge on day one when he walked into that office, and then put in loyalists to him and to the county executive and to at that point it was the council chair. He didn't care about experience. He didn't care about people that were qualified. He was just doing as he was told because he said the stars aligned for him when he was offered the job illegally by Aisha Brave Boy, and so he took it because he needed a job. So let's watch this, y'all. We're going to be watching this. So by the time we come back on for the next chat, we'll have more information and we'll see if that plan, if it happens. Let's see what happens. Remember, the CFO position, Lisa Howe. Let's see if he tries to put the blame on her as the CFO and then tries to get rid of her.
Oh, I heard she already gone. She got canned today.
What?
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Heard it through the grapevine.
Oh, wow. See, didn't we tell y'all? He is corrupt. Dr. Sean Joseph needs to go. Matter of fact, he needs to lose his credentials.
Wow.
He needs to lose his credentials. There is no way in the world.
Rumor has
See,
it. I heard a rumor.
well, I hope she sues them because she put forth
I
a
hope she come
balanced
okay.
budget.
She
Well, now
Lisa.
I wonder if they asked her to retire though, because she could retire now. But the bottom line, she should have been forced out of her job because she was doing what she was supposed to do. It,
Uh, Donna
When you
not know
start
about
telling
that.
people no, you got to go.
mm,
see, I mean, maybe you should have used Claude when you did your 100-day plan. Maybe you were using the wrong chat for Chat GPT. Didn't
Change
give
the
you a good
model.
outline.
Boy, oh boy.
So, okay, so you heard that she's now gone.
Not
Maybe if we
much
had been
longer will
on
you
it.
be mine.
So Sherman, we can't, y'all. I know some of y'all can't hear Sherman. Sherman said
Oh,
that
they can
he's
hear
heard
me.
that. Oh, they can hear you
Yeah, I
now?
can hear
Okay.
myself now. Sorry.
So wait a minute. Is she gone because the 17 million wasn't uh, uh they didn't go after the 17
No,
million, and that's
you got
why
to
she
remember,
gone.
Derek, they have to set it up because they're trying to make Dr. Sean Joseph look like he is this stellar star so that he can get past this
This hurt.
superintendent search. And we ain't fooled with this crap no more. Aisha, go sit down. No, no more of this. They're trying to make him look good. So now they needed a fall guy. And since this was a financial thing, you got to show that he was on top of his stuff because he trained other superintendents.
allegedly.
So they're
Well, he
setting
should be
it
good
up.
because he just got his license back. So, I'm sure
Yeah.
he
Oh,
did his
well, yeah.
continuing education.
Yeah, he got his license in time for this job because the stars aligned for him to get this job.
Oh, I don't know
Did
where
they
my
now?
stars are. Can
Did
somebody
they
give me
now?
some stars? I need some stars. Like I told somebody the other day, I trust God. And I done told him this,
Oh,
this,
that's too
and this,
funny.
but I don't think he be caring what I say. He
Let me
do
send you
his
some lucky
own
charms.
thing. So, we don't want to hear that mess.
Look, God got greater things for you.
Hey, but
But
listen,
but
I mean,
let me
I
just say
don't,
this last one thing. You all need to make yourself vocal, just like you did with SB 1005. You need to
1005.
make 1005, that's 1005. But but anyway, you need to make yourself vocal about what they're trying to do to get Sean Joseph in as this superintendent of schools.
This is ridiculous.
Whenever you hear him in a meeting, he's always looking around like deer in headlight, waiting for someone to cue him and give him information. And now I'm telling you, this is
Well, you
straight
can't
up.
speak out of turn.
Well, let me finish. You ought to stop. This is straight up. Here we go. You're going to set up the fall guy. You're going to get rid of the CFO when it was probably, ain't no doubt about it. It was you and your antics of going around firing all the institutional knowledge in the system, replacing them with people who didn't know diddly, and then turning around signing contracts that the CFO had even told Mr. Millard House they could not afford. That is why he didn't sign those union contracts, not because he was trying to be mean to teachers. He knew we couldn't afford it. So Sean Joseph signs it because that's what he was told to do because the council had to pay back Dr. Donna Christie for making up those lies about the vote of no confidence to get rid of Mr. House. So, they had to pay up on the deal.
Wait, hey,
And
how
now,
allegedly?
well, ain't no alleged on this one because we
You want them to sue
signed,
you?
but I can say Dr. Sean Joseph signed a contract with the teachers that put us $98 million in the hole. $98 million. That was not the CFO's fault. That was his because he was following the marching orders of his master who hired him and brought the stars to align for him.
I
No.
don't want those stars. I was talking about some other
So,
stuff.
yeah,
Just for the record,
make
y'all.
your voices known. No to Dr. Sean Joseph as the superintendent for our school system. Okay.
And another victory that we have is that legislation that Ron Watson introduced, objecting to the ethics committee's ruling that sitting legislators cannot work in local or state county governments. And, he and Muse said they were going to fight it. Muse was hired, C. Anthony Muse, senator, was hired to be an ombudsman for small businesses that he really don't have no experience with. And we supposed to trust that they're not going to use that as a fundraising tool. And so,
didn't he have some bankruptcies?
Child.
Now my understanding
this
is
sound
it's
like a
more than
Trump
one
model.
too. So we need.
Yeah, this sound like a Trump model.
You know
Let's go ahead.
We need to pass a law for the county that these elected officials can't hold certain positions after they leave office or while in office. We need to definitely strengthen these ethic laws.
Yep.
8:30.
So anyway, so he and Ron Watson, Muse said the $58,000 that he makes as a senator wasn't enough money. So my thing was, well, why don't you step down? Why you so pressed to run every time? And Tamara Davis Brown could have been the senator last go round.
Right.
She almost beat him. So why are you still running? If it's not enough money, it was enough money before, and now you want the $200 and something thousand job, and so take the $200-something job.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Well, why can I have 200 something and 40 something?
Right. And so my thing is, Ron, I guess, was mad because we protested another victory, people. We protested about him having that $200-something thousand consulting job with Dr. Joseph when he ain't even in education. How he gonna tell the man how to run a school system? And so he had to resign from that position. So they gonna go fight. And I heard that bill was killed in committee. And that's all I'm gonna say about why. And then so y'all, it pays to be vocal. It pays to contact your elected people. It pays to do public notices of your concerns. You don't have to just do it on our page. Do it on your page so that your network of people can see your advocacy. Like, you ain't got to be on Citizens for Accountability and Governance. Trust me, people gonna read what you posting. They be all on. I got Facebookers all on my page. And so no voice is too small to be heard. No issue is too small to be addressed. And because, trust me, when I walked into that District 25 night, I thought that it was my party. I was getting a homecoming or something, because people were like, hey, LaVon, it's so good to see you. And hugging me, girl, y'all doing the thing. Like, it was people waving at me from across the room. I was like, oh, I feel so good. And I was hesitant to even go because I don't really do the political thing. As much as I talk about politics, who you see right here is who I am when I go in these spaces. And sometimes I'm just not in the mood to be cheesing up with people who I know are not necessarily right. But I decided that there is no room that I cannot go into and be who God called me to be.
Right.
Right? I'm not going to be in a shadow anymore. I'm not going to shy away from those people who I look in the eye that night and they know that I've talked about them and they ain't had nothing to say because they know I was right. It's something. It's not even about me, but it's about walking in what God has called you to do. And I've been doing it for 30 years, and ain't nobody gonna stop me from doing it for however many more years God has for me, or however many more years I choose to do it. When I decide that I'm done turning Prince George's County upside down, as my late friend told me, then I will make the decision.
Exactly.
But they will not.
So someone in the comments says that we went from 12 chiefs in PGCPS to 20.
We went to what?
From 12 chiefs to 20. I always said there was just too many chiefs.
Chiefs?
Chief.
Chiefs.
Oh, chief.
KEITH?
Girl,
Yeah,
Chief.
I mean, but he
chief. I
does.
know I'm
He
country, but
he has a chief for everything. He probably even got a chief to bring him lunch.
oh, you know
This
his son
man,
work in the government too.
yeah,
Who?
His
his
son.
son, Sean,
Oh,
Dr. Sean Jones. This man can't do anything. Every time you turn around, a chief got to bring him information on everything. And it makes we I thought he was hired because he was had all this experience. He taught other superintendents and he could turn this system around. The only thing I see him doing is delegating stuff. I don't see him doing anything but delegate. And I'm
Well,
not
he's
saying that
delegated a
uh,
task that was given to him by
by his
Mr.
master.
Ed,
And
Mr.
the
Ed.
boss. The boss.
see, I was scared. See, I came close to saying something because she said that, but and the county executive.
Play
I
brother,
was
play
gonna
sister.
no checks and balances at all.
nah,
None,
man. No,
none,
no.
none. No checks and balances. They too busy being buddy buddy.
You know, they used to say we want somebody. Prince George's County grown. They had Dr. Maxwell. They didn't like him because he was a white man. They had Monica Golson. They ran
I
her
didn't
out.
like it.
I don't even know exactly why she decided to go. I
Because
don't
she
know.
said the makeup of the board was she knew once that last election happened. She said that makeup of the board she knew were not focused on what was best for children, and she
Right.
wasn't wrong.
Okay, so that was her reason. But she was
Well,
Prince George's
truth be
County
told,
homegrown.
everybody listen up. And I'm gonna talk to you for real. Everybody get on the school board just to become a council member.
Yep,
That's really
yep.
what it is. That's what I was told when I was running. Why don't you just do school board instead?
District
And that
9,
wasn't my
district,
passion. That's
Yep.
not where
district,
that's not my ministry. Or
I
they'll
was
tell you to wait
asked
your
to
term,
do.
but either central committee to become a delegate or the school board to become a councilman. And I didn't want to take that route, so Lolita got it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it is what
well,
it is.
she followed the path of her of her
And
fellow
that's why I'm
board
not a council
members.
member right now, because I
Hmm.
don't play in their ballpark as the way they do it. You know, it's shady. It's a scheme that
Yeah, I was
pops up.
asked.
She
I
said it's like old time religion. It was good for Mr. Ed. It was good for Miss Shayla. It's good enough for me.
Yeah,
So
at the District 25 meeting the other night, legislative night, she was introduced as the board member from District 9, and she stood up and said, former board member, and Nick was like, oh yeah, former board member. And so, I did not want to be a school board member, and I told people I do not want to be a school board member because my personality is a 100+% giver, and I'll be real. It didn't pay enough for the time that I would be invested and for the headaches that I would have. So I don't mind serving in whichever capacity I need to serve and talking about the issues that I choose to talk about. But it was no way I was going to dedicate time for the nonsense that happens with the board of education, the craziness that's behind the scenes, the people that know the truth and they won't tell the truth.
won't
The
tell the
people who are too
truth.
afraid to tell the truth because we don't have the necessary laws to protect them.
Well,
No,
And the
yeah,
but
laws are
Well,
created to
but
shelter the criminals
no, but
and
former
punish the
but
taxpayer.
no, but elected board members, they don't have to worry about protection. They you are a self-governing board. It is your responsibility to tell what is
Well, how they gonna
happening.
move up?
Well, I was
Remember,
gonna
this
say they
you're
have
getting in this
aspirations.
circle just so they can be in the crew, in the good old boys club. And if you start talking out, you're gonna be like Juanita.
Oh yeah, they'll take you to court and lie on. Oh, you know what? One day we have to play those videos so that people can hear Mr. Ed and Miss Shayla Adams
Although
Stafford.
my microphone was muted, the people couldn't hear what I was saying.
Oh no.
What was I
See,
talking about?
we need to play those videos so everybody can hear Mr. Ed and Miss Shayla Adams Stafford and Mr.
I
Murray
have to go back because
basic
they don't know what we're talking about. Pretty much what I
uh,
was saying
well,
is
no, let me finish. I was talking about the school board videos.
Yeah, but they don't even know why we're talking about the school board because my microphone was
Oh,
muted.
okay, you were muted. Okay, let me let you
Yes,
go,
I
and
was saying I was
then I'll
muted.
Oh,
jump back
So
in.
pretty much all I was saying was to everybody out there, and I'm talking to you as a candidate who has been through this process before and actually talked to elected officials and et cetera, et cetera. They tell you to go on the school board as an entryway to the council. They tell you to go on the central committee in hopes that you'll be picked to be a delegate. So a lot of times people on the school board, and the reason why we have this dysfunction is because I don't want to say these board members don't care, but it's not their focus. They're looking for the next best thing. And, you know, I could have went through that process. You know, I was told, Sherman, you don't need to run for council or delegate. You need to run for the school board, wait your turn, et cetera, et cetera. But I didn't want to do that. And so I gave that to Lolita. You know, she ran, and, you know, before, you know, her and Kenton, they ran for that position. And for me, my passion was always with this county to get it right because I see the L's as a outsider looking in. But I
mhm.
don't play these systems and these games where somebody has to tell me, you know, when I can speak and come out and looking like old girl from Coming to America when I have to bark. So I'm where I'm at right now because of that. But the point is the reason why we're having issues within the school system is because it's a farce. And I know people gonna record this and say Sherman said that it's a farce, but if they
It
cared
is
about
a
your
farce.
children
Well,
like they
That
say they do,
but you know
that's
what? Go ahead, Jared.
that's part of it, Sherman, why we're having issues with the school system. But I said this 5 years ago, and I told Dr. Juanita Miller this while she was in there. I told her that there were certain systemic things that had to happen every year in the school system for them to get off to a good year. Okay. And during those COVID years, people were sitting at home, working from home, and they forgot about the systemic things that have to happen at certain months and times in the school year for the next school year to get up and running and run fluid. So, coupled with what you're saying, Sherman, and the lack of, and I don't mean any disrespect to Monica Goshen, because Dr. Goshen, because she was the superintendent, but at that time, but we got complacent on some of the things that have to be done at certain times of the school year for that next following school year to run smoothly. So now what we're seeing is a culmination of all of those things systemically hitting the school system at one time. So we're behind from the COVID years, and I know ain't nobody gonna want to admit it, but that plays a big part in it.
But and that does play a part, Derek, but that's why you have oversight so that you drive those things, those operational things. Yeah, or you have people that are there to try to make sure it continues to drive, not
But
them
when you have,
driving. But go ahead.
That's what. Go ahead.
I
But
was
but
going to
but
say, but when you hire people, put people in positions that they're not qualified for, and you have people who are leading those departments and they are put there because you did me a solid and lied on this person to get
yeah,
that person that know out.
but
It's
Donna,
difficult.
but those positions are positions, those senior positions, do they still come before the board? Well, you know what?
Some of them.
They used to come
Some of
before the
them do.
board.
Yeah,
I
they
think
did.
yeah, I think HB 1107 kind of took away some of that. But again, this is where the oversight. You can hire the worst people you want, but if the board is doing proper oversight, then you can't get
they're
but
too
so
busy doing the
far.
superintendent job.
That's right.
Yeah, they're exactly. Instead of doing oversight, they're trying to show how I'm a great educator. I used to be a former educator. I used to do this. I don't care what you used to do. You're here as a board member. Now you're supposed to do oversight.
But that's for the
Remember,
council too.
All right,
What?
And a
Yeah.
lot of people are
But
complaining
remember,
about services not
but wait a
being
minute, let
done
me
in this
finish
county.
up. Hold up.
Hmm.
Let me finish up though. We have board members, school board members that are sitting up here starting programs and then making sure Shayla
Council
Adams
members too.
Stafford. Well, but yeah, but let's focus. We're focusing on the board right
I
now.
know.
Shayla Adams Stafford was set up here and created these reading programs, then got on the Abafa board to fund them, then put them on her LinkedIn page as things that she did. So you had board members so busy worried about their, like you said, Sherman, their next hurdle or their next position they were trying to catapult to, that they just jumped over all the needs of children. And sometimes they even walked on their backs to get there. And then they want to smile in our faces and say, I'm about the children, I'm about my constituents. No, you're only about making sure that you can come into a meeting and put that big old Louis Vuitton bag sitting up on your desk when before you was walking around with maybe a Hex bag or maybe even a Target bag, but now and then you want to walk around with these red bottom shoes, you want to walk around with all these gold necklaces now, everything that you have gotten off the backs of our tax dollars and our children. Now you get your hair done every week. All of
Welfare
it,
money.
no, let me finish because these are our tax dollars. And instead of trying to help us, you have used it to enrich yourself, and then you want to flaunt it and make it seem like you are successful. You're not successful because what you have done is stoop to thievery
Well,
and
she does have $1 million
and
nonprofit.
deception to take advantage of people by throwing them a bone, throwing them a crab, throwing them a diaper, letting them know you're going to pamper their feet for one night. All of this stuff that really doesn't matter when it comes to doing good government. And this has really got to stop. And
Done.
that, and wait a minute, I'm gonna go back and say one last thing and I'm done. This is another reason why we need to make sure that this council does nothing. Now it's too late for well, I'm not going to say it's too late because we'll see what Chief Howell wants to do if she's been canned like Sherman has told us. But Frank Turner, his position not only needs to stay, it needs to
He need
be
more people,
it needs to be expanded so
and
that we
right.
start looking at
more
this corrupt
investigators.
council
Mhm.
and yeah, this corrupt council and county executive that we have. And better yet, if y'all want to do a surprise emergency bill in the next 2 days, take that position, make it a state position, and make it an IG position that can look over the entire county. If y'all, since y'all like doing stuff in the dark and the
Hmm.
last minute, do one of those bills, Mr. Senators out there in Prince
And the
George's
recall
County.
law while you're at it. We need a
So
recall law, and we need to make sure that elected officials can't go get a good government job so long after they have been inside of office
yeah,
And
there's a
as
definitely,
well.
rule. There's a law about you can't lobby
right.
for so long after you leave Annapolis, but there isn't anything that says a
County.
council member
Hmm.
can't come back and work, I don't believe, or and even these
Or in a
legislators.
quasi agency, or it
Right.
just doesn't make any sense.
And
Just
well,
because you're
let's
an elected official doesn't mean you can run a department.
well, how about the fact that this District 6 school board member, who's also the PG,
Ooh,
the board chair, is now the COO for Economic Development Corporation,
yes.
and he's still sitting in his seat. What's up with that? That's a conflict of interest.
I'm trying to figure out how he got a COO position when he committed fraud.
Fraud,
He
theft, and some
committed
more stuff.
fraud to
Well,
the
he didn't
tune of
commit it alone.
well, it doesn't matter.
There's a
I'm
whole
talking
board.
about
That's
I'm
right.
talking no. He did
Call
this.
them all.
No. You can't know because he negotiated
Signed it.
this unilaterally and he signed it.
But they
So
all voted.
no,
No.
nope.
Oh,
Well,
this
you
is
can't
this
Because
is
have a
different.
unilateral
no, because
signature.
remember when we got this stuff through our PIA when the OIC office asked for the signatures of everyone validating that there was a vote for this thing. Brandon Jackson was the only signature on there. No other board member would sign it.
So you're
So,
saying they didn't vote?
let's say they didn't want to say they didn't vote, they voted because they wouldn't sign the affidavit. The only person who would sign it was Brandon Jackson.
So
That-
that's a concern for me.
That's a
And
violation.
It's
huh?
theft. According to board policy,
That's a board policy
Brandon
violation.
Jackson committed theft to the tune, and really it's grand larceny because it's $800,000. It's fraud and it's theft. He didn't have the authority to sign that contract. That represents theft under board policy, which is undergirded by state law.
Yeah.
Well, I
So
think he
how
was
do you get that
chosen
position?
because he wouldn't run. So because he wanted to run for the District 6 council seat, and when it became vacant, he probably couldn't justify giving up his day job to take an appointed seat and then potentially lose the election and then be out of any employment. So the consolation prize was just like with Ingrid, we'll send you over to
Yeah, but
EDC.
again, the qualifications. You are a COO and you forge paperwork and cost taxpayers 800,000 plus dollars
But
because
you're being rational. You said, how did he get the job? I'm telling you how he got the job. You want qualifications, you want criteria, I mean, come on, the president,
I understand pay to play.
yeah,
I got
the
you.
But
president,
Donna, they said there wasn't no fraud in the state of Maryland.
Ain't no fraud.
Well,
That's what
president of
y'all senator
EDC
said.
don't even have qualifications to do what she doing.
well,
But
they
anyway,
said Stanton doesn't have the necessary qualifications over at Park and Recs too.
right. Don't nobody have no qualifications. The people hiring the people who don't have no qualifications. The people being hired don't have no qualifications. But we telling our kids to go to school and be the best that you can be, and don't break the laws. And
See,
it's just a
you,
hot mess. The world is turned upside down, y'all, and I'm just
you,
holding on.
you just losing your whole historical background on how things are ran because you just willy nilly firing people out of top positions that hold historical knowledge on how to run certain things. And real quick, just a prime example, I got to get this in back to the school system. You're going to have another raggedy school year next year because you still got 33 bell times and you have not done anything to change your bell times, and it is May.
They
I
ain't got
mean,
no
it's
money.
what is this? April.
They ain't got
So
no money, Derek.
but
Okay.
Tanya,
Or
listen,
the knowledge is not
listen,
there
listen to
too.
what I'm saying to y'all. Listen to what I'm saying to y'all. Bell times, bell times and runs through transportation. Transportation makes sure that your kids get to school on time so that you can teach your kids. We issue bell times early in the school year to give principals and their staff the opportunity to vie to go to other schools if that bell time doesn't fit their schedule for their personal life. That's type of stuff like that is historical knowledge that runs the school system in terms of the school day being smooth for everybody. If the kids don't get to school, you can't teach them because they're not in the classroom.
But
So that's just a small example in that department. But we're talking about purchasing where Donna was. We're talking about CIP. They all have benchmarks at certain times of the year that have to be in place by the directors of those departments and disseminated to the MSDE audit people so that you can make sure that your school system is running effectively at each part of that time of the year. If you ain't doing that, and I'm gonna be done after that, it throws off the whole system
but
for the
Derek,
whole
they had
year.
no money. They don't. They too
They,
busy
they,
trying to figure
well,
out where they gonna pay. They're trying to find the next Peter to rob, so Paul can get paid.
Well, I think
okay.
that
They none of that, and I agree with you. It needs to be done, but right now they too busy trying to find all the Pauls they can to
But
rob so
but
that
you
they
gonna
can
keep
pay somebody.
you gonna keep costing yourself money and running behind Peter and
Absolutely.
Paul to catch up because none of that stuff is in place, and you gotta keep just paying overtime and don't because you're not setting up your you've lost your foundation.
So y'all are having a rational conversation, and the whole premise of this is that these people are what? Say
Not
it
Not
fast.
rational.
qualified.
Not, oh yeah, that's the other not
Well,
qualified and
well,
what? Corrupt.
So
hey,
then we'll call
Levon,
them incompetent criminals.
some of them, okay, some of them may be qualified in terms of they went to someone's university and got the education, but when you don't have the historical background of how a school system is running, and then you keep firing the people in top positions who are left that have some of that knowledge, I mean, make it make sense.
Well,
Well, I think it does get back. We are being rational, and
Yeah.
unfortunately,
All right.
Yep.
where's the
complicit
ball of confusion, Sherman?
complicitness is a real thing.
It's
And so
quarter to nine
before
to
we
y'all.
end,
Yeah.
Donna sending us notes. You see what I said, Donna? Don't even
Well,
try it. I
I
already
was
know.
trying to
I
let you
already
all
know.
finish this off, but so before I cut into
So,
the last segment,
huh?
I said I was trying to let you all finish off before we did this last segment, but since you all
Okay.
mentioned it, I'm going to go ahead and finish my sorry. So Prince George's County is breaking the law. They have violated all of the laws possible, but right now we're going to talk about my MPI request. Um, Back in February 4th at 4:12 p.m., I sent the MPI request to the county requesting information pertaining to the use of hotel facilities in connections with an emergency operations during a snow and ice event. I also requested information on the documentation such as all records reflecting the total cost incurred by Prince George's County related to the hotel-based emergency operations, not included but limited, included but not limited to the itemized invoices and receipts, hotel room charges, including nightly rates and the number of rooms, conference or meeting room rental costs, audio visual, IT or communication setup costs, catering, meals, or per diem expensive, if
Wow.
applicable, transportation or security costs associated with the site, the applicable state, county, or hotel taxes, the fees, any purchase orders, contract task orders, market research, or emergency procurement authorizations associated with these expenses. I also asked them to produce any contracts, agreements, memoranda of understanding between the county and the hotel or any third-party vendors, any emergency procurement justifications or waivers used for these services, and also ask that they please provide records sufficient to identify the names and titles of all county employees, officials, contractors, or consultants who stayed overnight at the hotel and or used the hotel as part of emergency operations, the dates and
Oh, good.
duration of each individual stay, the department or agency of each individual
Oh,
represented. I also asked for each individuals identified above to please provide the records indicating their assigned incident command structure, role, or function during the emergency, whether the role was required continuous on-site presence or could be fulfilled through remote or hybrid conditions, any
gracious.
shifts, schedules, staffing plans, or duty rosters used during the operation, and the decision documentation, providing records of the decision to utilize that particular hotel as a coordination or command location, any assessments or determinations that the County Emergency Operations Center or other county facilities were unavailable, insufficient, or inappropriate for this purpose, and any after action reports thereafter. And to date, I have not
That's
received any of that information. The
that's
government
scary.
is
You
violating the
ain't. You
laws.
ain't.
I promise you, they're
I
gonna
Right.
try
was
to ignore it as long as they can.
Oh,
Yeah,
please
go
allow me to
right.
finish. So
Oh,
when
okay.
Hmm.
I reached out to Rayanne, who is over at the Office of Finance, she says, um, and this was, oh no, that was my response to them. Oh, February 18th. They said that they are, okay, back it up. I sent it the 4th. They acknowledged on the 6th and said that they acknowledge my MPIA request. The Office of Procurement will conduct their search for the documentation and submit them to the Office of Law if needed to conduct their MPIA legal review. February 17th, I sent them a message that says, thank you, Rayanne. And I was like, and what is the anticipated time frame? I know the statutorily is 30 days.
And I was hoping for the documents at that point. And she says on the 18th that we are processing your MPIA request and expect to respond by the statutory deadline. So, yeah, April 6th, I'm like, hey, happy Easter weekend. Because, yes, y'all know I don't take a break. I was like, I wanted to follow you up about my MPI request that I sent on February 4th. And, you know, what's up? What's up? Like, where my documents at, pretty much. And I sent one today at 11:40 a.m. and says, well, at least to the PIA ombudsman at the state. And I was like, Prince George's County is breaking the law. The statutory deadline has lapsed. You know, these documents were supposed to
Don't
be to me. They
tell.
asked for a 30-day extension. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, I'll go with that. But now they playing in my face. And I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They
So
figure the next thing they're gonna do is say, okay, it's gonna cost you $5,075,000.
Well, no, this one is free. The one that I
It's
have to
supposed
pay
to be
for,
free.
$620, is for District 7 and 8 council members about the grass cutting that they have been doing.
Mm. Well,
So
don't
they
you know
told me,
grass cutting helps keep down gambling addiction?
well,
Know
I don't
that?
know anything about that, but I did request documentation and I was doing a little investigatory work when it came to DPWT. I was trying to get information about Project Elevate, but I heard it's Project Strike Force. So it may have been, you know, that's why I probably didn't get the documents that I needed. But what I
Mm-hmm.
did get, and what raised the question to me is, if we're cutting people grass for free, assumingly that's what they're doing, because I don't know if they're going to recoup those funds or not. But other people in this county who does not have this opportunity are getting fees and fines and liens placed their home.
That's right.
kind of like a class action lawsuit to me.
And then there are,
Or
well, speaking of, because I mean, if anybody out there, if you may be entitled to $1,000. But let me stop. But there are people out there who could possibly join one of my lawsuits or our lawsuits pertaining to that, because they are within that 6 mile radius and are not getting these same services because they're not in district. What is it again?
8.
Yeah, 8.
Hey.
And 7 and 9 is in there too. Now I talked to my council member, the current member Sidney Harrison, and he said he didn't want to touch those funds.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. And by the
Well, he
way,
said because of what they were doing with it.
well, but he ain't
But
said
then
nothing
he can do the
publicly
right
about
thing
it.
with. But that doesn't mean
Well,
he
he
has
always
to
said
do
he
the
gonna do the
wrong
right
thing.
thing, but he still vote.
Yeah, just take the money and do the right thing in your district.
So yeah. Let me get my thoughts. So Mr. Ed took 100 students, y'all mentioned it, to Puerto Rico. And in his post, he said District 8 and the greater District 8. What's a greater
What's the
District
greater
8?
District 8? I don't
What the
know.
heck is that? So that means he took kids outside of the local impact area or outside of the boundaries of District 8. So you know what? We just
Sounds
got a
like
whole
another
lot of
MPIA
issues with
It,
that.
it,
Yep.
it,
We
that
just
you got
got
it,
a
to
whole
pay
lot of
for.
issues. But listen, let me just say this because I thought about it and I want us to be in a celebratory mood when we leave this space tonight. If you finish, Sherman.
Yes, I'm done
Okay.
with
Can
that.
I say one thing? Then one about Mr. Ed doing this really quick. Uh, I every time they do this stuff, I don't know if they think about the liability they subject us to, and I'm getting sick and tired of these thoughtless actions without thinking about what it does to taxpayers, the
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm,
risk to
Mm-hmm.
taxpayers.
mm-hmm.
Go ahead, LaFon.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So we are all getting these mailers from the at-large council member Walla Blagay, who is a candidate for the District 5 congressional seat. We know that this is undercover campaigning. That's why it's so important that Tanya
It's
is looking
fracking.
at the mailing at the vending contract
Printers, yeah.
for printers, and we need to find out about the postage. We need to get a ruling that says they cannot send out literature within 90 days of an election.
Well, didn't Todd say there was already a law that they
I
passed?
don't think there was a law.
It's
I just think
fracking.
we need to I need to follow
That's
up
what
with
it
him.
is. Yeah.
But they're obviously, I mean, they weren't in 90 days when they first started. And the campaign videos of Danielle Happy Homemaker Hunter, the mailer she did thanking Walla for her service as the District 6 council member, and now she's at large, and Walla got this picture with her on a microphone. Like, come on, stop insulting us. Stop insulting us. These are campaign ploys. We were told that it has been directed to the staff that these mailers go out every 2 weeks. I have not seen one for District 4 person Tim Adams. So if y'all have it, please take a picture of it and post it in the CAG page so we can see what he's talking about. So we just, and then they did all these this week with tonight they're doing public safety, her and Juanica Fisher. Like, what else you gonna say that you haven't said all
And
year?
you know that's her state's attorney platform. So please,
Yeah,
we know we are not stupid.
right. We ain't stupid. That's her way of getting Juanica on a mailer that goes across the county. But anyway,
I meant
here's what
franking,
I
Levon,
want
not
to
fracking. Think about something different. It's
here's
franking.
what I want here's what I want to
Frankie.
celebrate.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
when
want to
elected
celebrate.
officials use send mail using their signature in place, like it's for campaign material allegedly, but you're doing it as a purpose of political like campaigning.
Okay.
Right.
Almost like Trump putting his name on the dollar. Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna sign the dollar and the coins. His face gonna be in the coin. Like, oh, I'm so over it. Oh my gosh, I'm so over it. But anyway, let's end on a high note. Michael Esteve, sorry if I'm not, excuse me, saying it right, was elected as Bowie's next mayor,
Yes, I
over
saw that.
50% of the vote. Now it was
Wow.
like 50.6 or something like that. Yeah, 50.6. So he just eased out, but it was like 8 candidates. So people got 1 point something percent. So it's not like they were really competitive. It's probably about 4 or 5 that should not have been in the race. The lady Roxy who ran, she was on one of the mailers that Walla did. And I don't know what the actual turnout was for the Bowie people, how many registered voters they have versus how many actually voted. But that Roxy chick
At
was on.
5 p.m., it was around like 8.4, I think they were saying.
Okay, so that's really low. So y'all got to do better. You got to show up to the polls. But Roxy was on one of Walla's mailers to do some conversation. Let us stop undercover campaigning in our face. So I'm glad she lost. Now I don't know Roxy like that. I've seen her out and about. I know she's been, I think, on the council for a while and stuff. We met Michael when we were advocating to keep Pointer Ridge Elementary School open. He was very engaging, very responsive, and all the things. And I saw that. I was like, yeah, he gonna go places. So be careful about these alignments. But people, the power is in your hands. It's right here. It's right here. What are you hitting send on? What are you hitting like on? What are you objecting to? Don't be afraid. Speak up. Tell these people what the problem is. Go to the events. We didn't really finish the whole how do you choose a candidate part, but this is important. This race for Bowie was important because this young man has put in the work. I didn't see his campaign. I don't know what he did. I never saw a sign. I saw Roxy signs, but I haven't seen his signs. Maybe
I
I
saw a
didn't
couple.
driving in the right place. But the fact that the establishment, because the rebels are now the establishment, y'all. The fact that their candidate did not win, and I'm putting them all in the same box, I don't care. That says a lot. So Bowie, thumbs up, show up better on June 20th.
Yes.
Plan a trip to see Joshua.
And get these people.
That's right. Y'all
these
take
people
that. You
home
take
and-
those endorsements. Those are the ones you don't vote for.
Right. Send them people home in December. They gotta serve until December, but make sure they got to go home. Huh?
Finish the sentence.
Okay. Oh, it's 9 o'clock.
I said.
Sherman said it's 9 o'clock.
All right, I'm out.
Okay, Sherman. We're done.
We're exhausted. Thank y'all for joining us. Have a great week.
Y'all have a great week.
Take care, y'all. Bye.
Oh, Sherman, you didn't announce about tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Everybody, welcome. You're invited to my kickoff. It's going to be at 8222 Schultz Road on the second floor. It's the white building on the corner of the real estate building. Hope to see you out there. It's going to be between 6 and 8 p.m. So if you're traveling down and there's too much traffic, just veer off on Schultz and come say hi.
Clinton, Maryland.
Yes, in Clinton, Maryland. Sorry about that.
He's so excited. Yay.
I know.
Come on out and meet
Pump
the
it up.
CAG.
Yes.
Yes.
We gonna be there. We gonna look cute.
Yeah.
We can take some pictures. We're gonna celebrate Sherman and all of his ambitions and his
candidacy. Yes.
And we gonna do the thing, and hope y'all will come out. Y'all hear him? You can't hear him because he off camera saying finish the sentence. I'm
Oh my gosh.
I do feel a little
for
involved, I'm
him.
not gonna lie.